Part 4. Charlie also sees Doris for the first time. I have to say that Doris looks absolutely gorgeous. At the age of 27 or 18, she had a slender and curvaceous figure, alluring beauty, and a noble and capable temperament. Charlie sat at Doris's desk and said, "I won't come to M Grand Group often in the future, so M Grand Group wants you to take charge of the overall situation and don't reveal my identity." Doris knew that the Charlie family in front of her was extraordinary, and the noble group was no less than a drizzle to her family, and it was normal not to want to manage it herself. So she hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, if you have anything in the future, you can tell me." At this time, a female secretary knocked on the door and came in and said, "Miss Doris, there is a man named Gerald who has brought his fiancée to visit you." Doris immediately said, "I see the distinguished guests. Let them wait first." Charlie asked him, "Do you know this Gerald?" Doris hurriedly said, "His family is a partner under us, and their main business depends on us. Their family always says that they will come to visit, and they have been here several times." Charlie said coldly, "From now on, M Grand Group will no longer have any dealings with the White family. All ongoing cooperation and preparations will be suspended. If the White family can still get a single cent from M Grand Group, you, the vice chairman, will have to pack your things." When Doris heard this, her expression suddenly turned terrified. She didn't need to ask to know that someone from the White family must have offended the young master. So she immediately nodded and said, "Mr. Wade, don't worry, I will give orders now to end all cooperation with the White family." Charlie snorted and said, "Tell them that M Grand Group will not cooperate with low-quality trash. Then let the security guards drive them away." Outside, Gerald and Wendy were waiting excitedly. The White family has always wanted to be a strategic partner of M Grand Group, so they especially hoped to get closer to Doris. But unexpectedly, Doris's secretary came with several security guards. Gerald couldn't help but ask her, "Hello, does Miss Doris have time to meet us?" The secretary looked at him and said coldly, "Sorry, our deputy Doris said that M Grand Group will not cooperate with low-quality people like you. From now on, we cancel all cooperation with your family." "What did you say?" Gerald was stunned for a moment, dumbfounded. Why did the sentence sound so familiar? Oh right, he was in the parking lot earlier. Charlie said the exact same thing. What does Miss Doris mean? Why should they stop working with the White family? Gerald felt his brain congested. What happened? Stop all cooperation? More than half of the White family's profits are made by M Grand Group. If the cooperation is stopped, wouldn't the family's power be immediately cut in half? He couldn't accept this fact and shouted, "I want to see Miss Doris. I want to ask Miss Doris in person." The secretary said coldly, "Sorry, our deputy Doris will not see you, and you will not be allowed to enter the M Grand Group in the future." Gerald scolded angrily, "Are you playing with me on purpose? We're long-term partners of M Grand Group. How can we end our cooperation like this?" The secretary ignored him and directly said to the security guards around him, "Take them out." The security captain rushed forward, grabbed Gerald's wrist, and then twisted it behind his back. Gerald screamed in pain, and the guard shouted coldly, "Get out! If you dare to cause trouble in the M Grand Group, be careful I throw you out." "You are a security captain? Dare to shout at me? Do you know who I am?" As soon as Gerald's voice fell, the captain slapped him and cursed, "In front of M Grand Group, who are you?" Gerald was slapped in the face with intense pain. Just as he was about to get angry, the phone suddenly rang. The call turned out to be from his father. When the phone was connected, an angry roar came from the other end. "Gerald, what are you doing? Now that M Grand Group wants to cancel all cooperation with us, who were you offending?" Gerald said sadly, "Dad, I didn't offend anyone. I just came to visit Miss Doris, but I haven't been seeing Miss Doris's face." On the other end of the phone, Gerald's father shouted, "The people from M Grand Group said that the reason they stopped the cooperation with the White family is because you are an unqualified trash. Now the family has suffered a huge loss because of you, so you hurry back to me and personally explain to your grandfather." Gerald was driven out of the M Grand Group gate by security all the way, holding the phone with a shocked expression. She suddenly thought of Charlie, couldn't help but ask Wendy, "Wendy, Is it because of your trashy brother-in-law? Does he have anything to do with M Grand Group? Huh? Wendy was surprised by Gerald's words. Thinking about it carefully, maybe it really had something to do with her trashy brother-in-law. But he was clearly in vain. Thinking about this, she shook her head dryly and said, "How could the he have anything to do with M Grand Group? He is not qualified to come to the M Grand Group to clean toilets." "That's right," Gerald nodded. Thinking about his angry father, he said sullenly, "No, I have to go home early." The news that the White family was dismissed by M Grand Group soon spread throughout Oris Hill. Although it is unknown why M Grand Group wants to block the White family, everyone knows that the White family must have offended M Grand Group. At this point, the White family was over. The White family's power had plummeted by more than half. It had once been close to the standard of a first-tier family, but now it had fallen directly to the tail of a second-tier family. When old Mrs. Wilson heard the news, she trembled with anger. She wanted to annul the marriage contract between Wendy and Gerald, but thinking that the White family was thinner and the camel was bigger, and the Wilson family couldn't afford to offend, so she could only give this idea up temporarily. Currently, in Doris's office, Charlie studied the whole process and really admired the style. Charlie said with satisfaction, "Doris, what you just did was very good. From today on, your salary will double." Doris was surprised, then delighted, and hurriedly stood up and bowed to Charlie. "Thank you, Mr. Wade." Charlie nodded and said, "I also want you to announce 2 things. Doris said, "Mr. Wade, say it and it will be done." Charlie said directly, "The first is to announce the change of ownership of Enfram Group and the appointment of a new chairman, but not to reveal the identity of the new chairman, only the surname Wade. That's all people need to know it. The second is to announce that Engram Group will invest $2 billion in Oris Hill to build a 6-star hotel. At the same time, it will launch a partner bidding. Construction and decoration companies in the city are welcome to participate in the bidding." The Wilson Group's core business is decoration. Lady Wilson dreams on boarding the M Grand Group's flagship. Whoever can secure M Grand Group's cooperation will certainly become the Wilson Group's vice president. Now, M Grand Group is his own, and of course, he has to give his wife some benefit.